Welcome to Most Famous, where we are not. And today I'm joined by. Oh, I didn't write the intro down. That's funny. I'm joined by a man who's been in prison for 7 years. A man that has a growing business over 20 years and has a church that's been flourishing for even longer. Michael Spotsville, my uncle. welcome to the show.
All right. Thank you.
Right. So first, I want you to tell us how young you are and what was it like growing up.
Well, now, as of 3 days ago, I turned 70. And as far as what it was like growing up, I would say it was hell. My growing time period as a child wasn't all that great because of the type of life I lived with my mother. And see, my mother didn't have no education. In fact, she had a lot of hatred and anger in her because the way she came up. The other siblings were adopted and people in the family raised them, but no one took her. So she ended up being sent to a girls' reform school where she grew up there. So there was a lot of anger in her based off of that. Yeah, girls' reform school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was a lot of anger built in her. So raising children wasn't easy task. It was six of us, two girls and four boys, which the oldest is passed on 2 years ago now. But when we were growing up, we were at a stage where the whippings were like unheard of because my mama whipped us with extension cords. You got hit with skillets. My older sister was punished by putting her hand over the fire until her skin peeled off. So it was a dramatic time period for me. And so that's why I say as far as my childhood goes, I've learned to deal with that and even told my mother before she passed on that I forgave her because of understanding the life that she had made it easier for me to understand. But what that did teach me, how to raise my own. You know, I knew what I did not want my child to go through or experience. So it embedded that in me as far as being able to have a successful upbringing with my son.
And what was she going through that made her that way? That you think your mother?
My mother, the way she came up, you know, in that reform school, you had to fight or get beat up every day, you know, and you had to fight for food, you know.
During segregation, right?
Yes, yeah. So those times was extremely hard for her, you know. And can you imagine you have I think it was like 9 of them, and out of the 9, you had aunts and uncles. When the grandmother died, they took the other 8, but you're the only child nobody wanted to take.
Wow.
You know, so when they sent her off, right there was the beginning stage of her adulthood life because she was never able to overcome that. You know?
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And when you were growing up, living in that household, what was some of your aspirations, or what was your future like when you were a boy?
Well, when I was a boy, I had a lot of dreams of getting to be an adult because I hated the way I was coming up. I knew what I did not want to have because there always a lot of drama. My mother had a lot of drama. In fact, every week, the guys that she was with to try to make a living, to try to feed us, you know, there was a fight every week behind money. And those type of fights, you know, pistols getting pulled, and bloodshed. Those were some harsh type of fights that was going on back then. So I knew that I didn't want to have to live that type of life, because even as children we saw that even when my mother would fight some of these guys, and if they were getting the best of her, you had to do something, so therefore you were involved in that stuff, that no child should have to experience, so yeah, as a boy, I couldn't wait, to get out, to get on my own. So.
And did you go to college?
Well, no. In fact, I was the only one out of 6 of us that did finish school. The rest of my siblings dropped out. Yeah, out of high school. Around they started around the 5th grade on up to the 7th grade. I was the only one that did graduate out of Austin Senior High, 12th grade, and graduated with honors. In fact, I had a college degree out of La Ola University, 4-year scholarship paid up. I didn't take it. I should have, but that was one of my mistakes in life, But because I also was in the ROTC, so.
So you were going to go to the Army out of high school, you thought?
Yes, you would have to, because of the program it was an academic scholarship, but after you serve, you did your 4 years in college, you have to go do 4 years in the service. But you would have went in as an officer, though.
Okay.
You wouldn't have had to deal with a lot of stuff. The regular person that goes through ranks, you'd have came out as a lieutenant or a captain or something.
Right.
So you already had some pull.
And then when we were setting up, I'll ask my uncle some questions about some of the questions I'm going to ask him. And you told me that you were one of the biggest drug dealers back then, and that ultimately led to prison. Could you tell me some of the stories of how that happened?
Well, the drug dealing, out in the Sunnyside area, off of what was it, Dixie and Scott over there. I came to be one of the biggest drug dealers. The downfall to that, I also became one of the biggest drug users. I had a $5,000 to $10,000 a day habit, so I had to, profit. But that night I spent it up in drugs, and this went on pretty much every night. My suppliers, believe it or not, were Houston police officers.
Wow.
They supplied us the drugs, and we sold them, and they gave us a profit, and they came collect their money, early that morning.
So you think that's rooted in racism? The whole idea of giving these drug dealers more drugs to keep black people doing more drugs and
well, yeah, most definitely. Anybody had any kind of common sense, you had to know the police had their hands in that, because even after all these drug seizures that they had, those drugs went right back on the streets, So, but yeah, doing that, I had a sergeant that I was selling for, and he supplied a lot because I sold a lot. I had a thing that I wouldn't do drugs while I was selling drugs. I made a point not to do drugs. I waited till that night came, and the nighttime was my time. That's when that $5,000 to $10,000 habit came, and I had every friend in the world because I had a lot of drugs.
Right. And but you said in high school you were very smart and you got a full ride. So what made you falter to drug selling instead of getting a job? Was it just too hard? Or?
No, I wanted. It was too slow.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, it was too slow because you see, I started work early. In fact, I was 11 years old when I was working as a busboy at a restaurant over there on Alameda called Spanish Village Restaurant. And this owner's name was Larry Pico. That man did me real good. Really took care of me, and wanted to send me to college too. The deal is he wanted me to be a doctor. But as far as what detoured that is the fact that I wanted money now, you know, and going to school or going to college was very, very slow, you know. So I ended up quitting. I was at TSU. I quit TSU to join one of these technical schools for programming. Okay, and I did graduate from MBTI. Was that school? Never forget it. I did graduate from that programming school where you learn old school stuff is COBOL programming, RPG2. That stuff unheard of today, but back then you had to have that in order to make these computers run. Because you actually had what they call punch cards, you know.
So you're going to be a tech guy?
Yeah, right, yeah. In fact, I got out and went, I got out of school and got a high-paying job quick. In fact, within 6 months, I made a manager, you know, and within a year, I was second in command of the whole company.
Wow. Within a year. How old were you then?
22.
22?
Yeah. You know.
So how old were you when you started selling?
Well, to tell you the truth, that came in after the school. Yeah, that came in after the school because the job got me in trouble. Right. Okay, because I was too smart for my own good. I got into wanting more money, and I started doing some embezzlement. Okay, since I was in control of payroll, I started making up checks for people that hadn't already quit, and I was still getting them. You know, so even at that level, you know, I was clearing probably about $8,000 a week. That way, you know.
Real money back then.
Yeah, back then. Yeah, it really accounted for a lot back then. So I caught up, and that embezzlement thing went on for years. I should have been stopped, you know, and I knew I should have, but I got caught up in it, and I didn't stop.
But you were well off, right? Because you had enough, you know, put food on the table. So what were you hungry for? Like, what was the void you were feeling? You wanted a nicer car, nicer clothes. You wanted a.
I always had a strive to be the best. You know, to at any and everything that I do, it's something in me that won't settle for nothing less than being the best of that area. If like now I'm in preaching, my thing is to be the best preacher I know. You know, when I out there mechanic, I also do mechanic. I always wanted to be the best mechanic that I know. If I was the best that I know, I was the best that other people knew. So it was always an ordeal for me about being the best. I would not accept nothing less, you know, and I put forth the effort to be the best, the time, the knowledge, you know. So I put all that stuff into it. And what drove me is always being the best at what I do. That's what drove me.
I understand that, yeah. So when you talk about the embezzlement, is that how you ended up in prison?
Yes. I had finally got caught and was terminated. And I didn't go to jail right then and there because I had money. You know, I was able to afford lawyers. I had stocks, and I had got so crazy with it, I was telling the lawyer what to do and what I'm not going to do, you know. So I really got besides myself, you know. But back then, I go cash out a $5,000 bond and give it to the lawyer, and that brought me time. I stayed out that way till the money ran out. You know, when the money ran out, and of course lost the expensive lawyers, and in that time with no lawyer. I had finally went to court, and at that time I had what they call a probation, but it was a probation, whereas if I would have concluded that, it wouldn't have been on my record, okay? And that went okay for a minute, but the problem is I did not follow the procedure, end up going to court for revoking the probation. That's where the 9 years came in at. I went to court because I And I didn't think I was going to get arrested, to be honest with you, because I've been used to having my way, you know. So I thought for sure it was going to work out good then, you know.
Did you have a slight superiority complex because you were so much smarter than everyone, and that you were just so much further in life than other people around you, especially at that time?
Well, yes, I did know how smart I was, no doubt, you know, and I knew that I was capable of doing anything that I wanted to do, you know, because I knew what it took to get it done, and I'm not, never have been a type of person that's a wishful type of person, you know. I don't run my life that way. I make things happen, you know. So, yeah, I was one of those type of people that was too smart for my own good, you know. But as you learn, and a lot of criminals nowadays behind bars, the system is always smarter than you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, is there any like, how did you change when you went to prison? Like, how did you come in and then?
Well, when I went to prison, those years, that was the worst time of my life. I I hated every minute of it. And when every day I would pray, I would cry out to the Lord. I kept promising, if you get me out of here, I'll never ever come back here. What prison taught me is the fact that how can a man live like that? Because every day, you had to be searched for when you come in. You'd be searched twice a day for lunchtime and for dinner time. And when you get searched, you know, you got to get butt naked. You know, you got to bend over, spread your cheeks. I was so humiliated, you know, never had experienced that in my life, you know, and you couldn't say anything because the system was to a point that if you raised too much hell, the guards would gang up and you would have 3 or 4 guards, and you ain't beating no 3 or 4 guards with sticks, you know. But that's the way they did it. And if you got hurt too bad, nobody could visit you until you heal, you know. So, but that life taught me not to ever, ever go that road again, you know. So it was so miserable, and it was so, it just, oh man, it belittled me as a man, as a human being, to be honest with
So
you.
that was the lowest point in your life. You think?
Yes, yes, it most definitely was.
So that was you had the whole prison chapter, and then is that when you got into being a pastor and preaching?
When I got out of prison, when I got out of prison, that's when the the drug world started.
Oh,
See, that was after prison.
oh,
Yeah, and what started the wanting to be closer to God routine was getting stabbed 9 times and almost lost my life behind the drugs.
how did that happen? How did you?
Well, you know, that happened because I was trying to help somebody. I was the drug dealer, and the person didn't have no money. He had to smoked all night long and didn't have no money for his drugs, and he just had to have some. But he had this Adidas real expensive jumpsuit, okay? So he said, look, man, just hold it for me. Give me some
He
drugs.
said that to you.
Yeah, just
Okay.
give me some drugs against it, and next week I'll come back and give you the money for it and pick it up. I held it for him, and then several weeks went by, and he never did. Then eventually I sold it, okay? And he eventually came by looking for it, and I didn't know, but when he came by looking for it, he came with 2 other guys, and I went walking outside, and about a block down, one of the guys he had standing there called out my name, and when he called my name, then the guy walked next to me, the one that I brought the stuff from, started stabbing on me while I wasn't looking.
The guy that was walking with you.
Yeah, because I knew him.
Why? So your
You know,
friend? That was
yeah.
your-
I was helping him out. Yeah, he was a friend at that time, you know. But the thing about it is, he stole that from somebody, and it was really to kill him.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
because later on they did get him. They shot him to death behind that. Okay.
Over that jacket or the
Yeah,
jumpsuit.
over the jumpsuit. It was really expensive units. Okay, but when the guy got my attention, you know, calling my name and like Mike, you know, got this and all stuff, so it took my attention off of him. I didn't expect he was standing right next to me. I didn't expect him to do something like that.
What was it like right here in the side?
All over the stomach, the sides, you know, all over.
And then
Yeah.
so when you were when you got stabbed, you were on the ground. It was
Yeah, he knocked me into a ditch, and when I fell into that ditch, he started stabbing more. So
wow. So
yeah,
and then after that, you got sent to the hospital.
yeah. After that, they called 911, and when they called 911, my sister Kat from down the street, because she was in a drug world too at that time, she wasn't as strong into it. But then I went to the hospital. And at that time, my lungs had collapsed, and I was really finna to go. But God spared me, you know. And when He spared me, and I finally got. But as a result from all those stabbing, I have issues today because of puncture and some torn issues inside of me. I have issues today behind that. Which been told them doctors, they told me I would. The older I got, the worse things was going to get. You know, so they were right on that. You know, so but after I was able to recoup from losing my life, now I started a road on getting to know Jesus. You know, at that point, and getting to know Jesus at that point, that started a 25-year journey, to be honest with you. And I ended up hooking up with my cousin, Carol. She's dead and gone now, but she invited me over to her church. You know, she said, Mike, this is unique. You need to come by. So finally, after a while, I put it off, and I finally went there. And I found God in that church. Pastor Sion was the pastor at that time, and she took me in, and after a few years, she ordained me as a minister. Then from there, I got ordained as a pastor, you know, and then after spending 20 years in her ministry, learning from her, you know, I finally met Romeo, the guy that actually started this church, Romeo Crowley. He's dead and gone now. Me and my wife, she was Catholic, so she was going to Catholic churches. We always butt heads because I tried to get her to join me because the Bible say husband and wife supposed to walk together. But she tried. In all honesty, she did. But the pastor I had, they kept butting heads. They just couldn't make it together. Okay, but my wife did try. So and I prayed and prayed, and I just let God handle that. And then Romeo, this church came along, and then we decided together to join this church. And then when we joined this church, she gave up her Catholic religion, going to Catholic churches, and become a non-denominational religion. And now she's just as happy and inspired behind the Word of God as I am. Because Romeo, this church went on for about 2 years, and Romeo got lost again, and he met a younger chick, and his life started going upside down. But he died, and before he died, he turned the ministry over to me.
So that's how that.
Yeah, that's how I became the pastor of the church. You know, in fact, next month on the 14th of April, we're having our 11th year church anniversary.
Wow, that's big news. That's big news.
Yeah.
Congratulations before, if I don't get to tell you then, but So when you took over the church, what are some unknown struggles that people don't know about being a pastor?
Well, dealing with people, because first of all, the only income is what people give.
Yeah.
And people have this mentality that the money is going to the pastor, and then they have this mentality that the pastor got to live poor. He's got to drive a raggedy car, got to live in a broke down house. That they have that picture of a pastor. So if the pastor is living good, at least better than they are, then they ain't giving the pastor nothing. Because now I ain't giving him my money. So they forgot the philosophy. You ain't giving it to me. The word of the God say give, so it be given unto you, so I can get it back to you. But people has been, and it still is, my greatest struggle, because people have no idea what pastors go through. Because you see, like me, I'm a working pastor. I've got to attend to the bills at home. I got to attend to my bills at the shop. I got to deal with the bills at the church. That's 3, 4, you know, uh, 3, 4 notes, 3, 4 light bills. It's just tripled. And the people, especially here, they do not give enough to accommodate. The shop picks up the slack. I've had some people, like for instance, Dr. Anita Wright, has helped the church out drastically. People like that, and the founder of the church, Bishop Murray, these people, they see enough in me to know that I'm the one to make it work. So when they know that the people that's here is not really doing anything, so they always have been a help when they were able to. Okay, and I've done activities. We do crawfish ball. We do a bowling night. We do several things for outreach program for not just the community, but for the church members and stuff. But these people. I have one guy that haven't gave $1 in the last 6 weeks, and when I approached him about it, he told me that his bills is too high. I said, yeah, but that's the reason you give, so God can multiply, can give back to you. He said, well, Pastor, I got to attend to my stuff right now. I said, okay, but that type of attitude is what pastors. People like Osteen, and God bless him. Any pastor out there that has a leeway, especially financially, more power to you. God bless you. You deserve it. Because saving these people's soul, and people don't understand, if a pastor is over you, first of all, he's praying. A lot of times somebody's name would come into my spirit. I start praying for that person because I know something's going on, and stuff like that they don't get to see, and prayers may or may not have been answered based off praying for them, but people have a problem with giving, and some have a problem with being consistent in church. Other than me and my wife and then the deacon, nobody else here is consistent in church. They all miss anywhere from 2 to 3 times out of a month. They're just not consistent. My thing is that what you think of God? You're supposed to give God your best. Right. You're not supposed to give God your leftovers. That you want to pay your bills, and if I have something left, okay, here you go, God. No, that's why you hold you in. But and then if you don't have money, give your time. You got something to give. Me and my wife got to come in and clean this place up. Those people don't volunteer. We've told them many of times, and when we get mad about it, they'll come one time, and then that's it. But there's no consistency. Right. So pastors catch hell trying to communicate with these people that he's praying to save their soul, right. To help them, their household.
But could you attest that there's some pastors out there that have a really good paying job and they preach on the side and they may spend the church's money on themselves? Because I feel like you're a very unique case. I don't think as many pastors is honorable as you that got 3 business.
Sure there are. I know some. In fact, I know firsthand there are some. Okay, but look, pastors are not perfect. We all strive for perfectness. We're not perfect. Okay, and just like there are good people out here, bad people. There's good pastors. There's bad pastors. Okay, but that's for God to deal with.
Exactly.
You know, the people themselves are not supposed to pass judgment and take it into their own hands and try, well, I'm not going to give you because I know you are there. No, you don't do that. If they are misusing God's funds, then God will deal drastically with them. You know, so yeah, there are some out there that's not right, but there's a whole lot that's really trying to walk
You
the
think
right
that's
way.
most of them are trying to walk the right way?
Yes.
You think 70%?
I say yeah, about 70%.
70%.
Yeah.
And that other 30%, why do you think that some of those pastors don't keep the main thing the main thing?
Well, because the devil, you know, just like there's a God, there's a devil,
Yeah.
you know, and I tell my members all the time, look, I don't care how much scripture you know, I don't care how much holy moly you are. Sometimes the devil's just going to win, you know, and that's life. That's just the way that is, you know. So those times, if you're aware of it, if you're a righteous person, you pray and ask for strength for whatever you need for the next time, because there will be a next time. You know, yeah, most definitely. But the devil got to him. Flip Wilson used to have a show and he always say the devil made me do it. Well, guess what? These people out there that's doing the wrong thing, you know, they're on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
You know, and God will deal with them. You know, He will deal with them. I guarantee you. In fact, He'll deal with them, and people will see that before they leave this world. Because when they leave this world, the Bible says, the final debt is death. Okay, but you pay for all the other junk through the hell you live.
So you're a successful pastor, and you talk about the car shop you had. How did you get into cars, and how'd you become a mechanic?
Well, I've always worked on my cars on the side. I trained myself by going to junkyards.
Really?
Yeah. When I found out a certain thing was bad, like a water pump, I would spend all day at the junkyard on another car and figure out how to take it off. So the things I broke, I didn't have to break on mine. So I already knew. I used to spend a lot of time at junkyards, okay? Nowadays, people can't do that because they charge for everything, and then they got all these cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but back then, we didn't have that. But I always had an interest for mechanics, and what the straw that broke the camel's back, I had a 1979 Mercury Cougar. That car was my heart. You know, it was decked out, moonroof, everything was in there. But I blew the motor, okay, dogging it out and stuff. And when I blew the motor, I went and paid this guy in Fifth Ward. And he took my money, and a week later, the motor blew again. Wouldn't do nothing about it. That happened to me 3 times.
Wow.
And I swear to God, I say, never again in life will a mechanic get over on me. Okay? So what I ended up doing, but I had enough sense. I told y'all, I had sense. So I knew one night about 12 o'clock, I was looking at this commercial on TV, UTI, and I knew that I can't be collared as a shade tree mechanic. That can't be me, So I knew in order for me, especially white people, in order for me to make you comfortable, I had to have paper on my name, okay? I had to have a degree. So I went there so I can get a degree in mechanics, okay? Right. So now I'm able to show you that I know what I'm talking about, okay? So I got the degree. I learned how to work on computers, wiring, and all that stuff, okay? But it's always been a passion, and I still today love what I do. People, cars coming out, I take it personal. You know why? We have repeat customers because we don't mess over nobody. Tell them, I'm not going to steal nothing from you, because I'm going to do you as right as you allow me to. Because just like you got wrong customers, too, that comes in there trying to get over on you, okay? But I learned how to be a mechanic, just off of interest and going to school and then with the experience and everything. And it was a job that I don't mind getting up in the morning. I got so many people that I know get up in the morning, I got to get up, and they dread going to work. Yeah, you're in the wrong field. Yeah, exactly. Me? No. Hey, good morning, Lord. What you have in store for me today? You know, I don't know what you got, but whatever it is, help me to deal with it. You know, don't take it away, just help me. You know, so I look forward to whatever challenges because I don't care how long, and I've been working on cars now for 43 years. Okay, but I don't care how long you've been working on cars. There's always something new or something you don't know, because the technology is hellified today. Yeah, the technology is something.
Yeah.
You know, we got all those expensive equipments and computers and stuff over there to keep up.
Yeah.
You know, so it can school us. You know, but you know, mechanicking is been a first love. My retiring love always been said to be a preacher, and so, and I tell people all the time, I got 3 of the best full-time jobs that anybody can ever have in their life. Okay, for one, preaching, I serve God. Okay, for 2, I'm a mechanic, so I got to make some money. For 3, I serve my wife. Thank God for her. You know, so those are all 3, 8 hours a day. I can't take nothing away from either one of them. Because if I rob God of his time, watch out, because trouble comes. But if I rob my wife of any of her time, trouble comes. You know, so I have 3 perfect full-time jobs.
Right. So what was the process of getting your own car shop location?
Well, that came about. God had his hands in that, because when I got out of school, I started working at Tune-Up Masters, okay, as assistant manager, then got up to a manager.
What is that? What is Tune-Up? Is that a...
That's an automotive shop that for fast, like tune-ups, oil changes,
Gotcha.
brakes. It was for fast stuff. And Andy Granatelli was real famous back in the day. Yeah, $49.99 tune-up, you know. But I worked at Tune-Up Masters, and I met a guy there, because I tell people all the time that I'm not going to school to work on somebody's job. Because when I graduated from UT, I had one of the best job offers there was. More money than I ever dreamt about going in Lafayette as a diesel mechanic. But I turned it down because I'm not trying to work on nobody else's job, you know. And I definitely wasn't trying to go back and live in Louisiana, you know. But anyway, you know, as I went along with the mechanic field and with God, everything came into play. I'm telling you, one of the key things I had was I got a wife that backed me up in every aspect of my life, you know. And when I decided, and you know one thing about preaching, if you got a problem with your wife, you ain't going to be successful.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because my wife fought me for years, because she been knowing I was going to preach.
Yeah.
You know, she been knowing that. And but I made a promise to God, and I made a promise to her. I said, unless I quit all this cussing, quit smoking that dope, I said, I'll never get behind. I said, I'm not going to be like some of these preachers. I'm not going to preach God's word on Sunday and come Monday, I'm a homemonger. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I did that. I stopped all that stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
No cursing word, no smoking, no nothing. I gave my life to the Lord. But that's when I won my wife over. You see? So she knows the type of person I am. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You know? When I say I'm going to promise something to her, I'm going to do it. You know? My word is my bond, one of them old school things.
Exactly.
You know? But the ride's been great. I don't know how much more time I have left, but I enjoy my life. I really do, with a passion. I enjoy it. You know, that Tuna Masters, it did teach me a lot. It taught me how not to be, because those were some crooked people. Oh, Lord, yeah, those were some crooked people. And I lost my manager's job because I wouldn't lie to this old lady. So they demoted me.
Wow.
Because I wouldn't lie to the lady.
What were you going to lie about? Like, what was wrong with their car?
Yeah, what was wrong with her car? They had like oxygen sensors that goes in the exhaust. They had some around, laying around that looked real, real bad. So they wait a minute, and then they come out and say, look how bad your oxygen sensor is. And if you don't hurry up and get this changed, you're going to have some serious issues going to be side the road. It wasn't even hers, you know, but that was a scare tactic that they used, okay?
Wow.
So I ended up meeting Robert Mullins. Robert Mullins was this guy that I met, a white boy. So then it was supposed to be three men. A guy named Steve Fletcher. Steve found a place for us, okay? But Steve started another job and couldn't come on board at the time, so it was just me and Robert. We didn't have nothing but our little tools. We opened up that shop around the corner over there, okay? And we made enough money. Robert was a heck of a salesman, and we had a good thing going. I told him, I said, man, you sell, and I'll do the work. You know, and that was great for a while until he got greedy.
So, what, like, he was selling why your business would be like the best business? Like, what was he selling in particular?
Cards, work.
Work?
Yeah, work. Because there was a bar across the street from the first shop.
Right.
He'll go in there and catch them drunks and to get a tune-up or oil change and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, don't ever work on a drunk car because when it's finished, you got all kind of hell on your hand, you know. But Robert was the good salesman, but Robert fell to snorting that coke, and we separated. And I took this shop here. This was became my shop when we separated, and he came across another partner, and they built a 4-bay shop up over here, and then they went from there. They had this man's wife was a tax consultant. They fixed paperwork up, and they got this big loan from the bank, and they built this big old 10-bay shop up, you know. But both of them was crooks, so I didn't make it out. Before the building was open, they was paying themselves like $50,000 a month, you know, before the building was even open. So they ran out of money quick, you know, and they used to come down here and try to get me to, hey, let's all work together and stuff. I said, no.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You know, but I had a hard course in business with dealing with Robert. You know, dealing with tuna masters taught me how I didn't want to treat customers. I've always believed that enough cars break down, you don't have to lie about it. They'll be back.
Yeah,
Things gonna happen. That's just the way it is. I've always believed. I still believe that.
Yeah.
You ain't got to break something. Yeah, that's true. Out of here, a number, there's probably like 11 shops. Okay, but it's only me and another guy. It's the only ones around here that's honest. The rest of them, they nothing but crooks.
Dang,
they ain't nothing but crooks. But the customer don't know. You know, so.
How did you get your staff members? Because I know that they've been around for quite some time.
Yeah, they have. That was God sent because for the first 7 years, I went through a lot of people. Then they were stealing and robbing me blind. They would steal tools, steal computers and stuff. But I couldn't catch them, you know. I didn't have cameras back then, you know. And then finally, Alex was the first one that came aboard. He had just moved down here, so he worked down the street there, and he had an argument with the wife over there, so he came over there and been there ever since. And he was rough in the beginning. He was dishonest, you know, but I was able to turn him around. You know, he tried stealing, but I caught him, and I gave him the scare tactics, you know. In fact, I wasn't scare tactics. I was really finna call the police and put him in jail, you know. So, but he swore up and down he'd never do it, and he never did, you know. But
and how old was Alex when you first hired him?
Alex been with me about 12 years now, so he's about 55 now, you know. So he was relatively young, you know, and he's a church member. He has a lot of work to do, but he's coming closer to understanding that there is a God, you know, and he's in every aspect of your life. And then there was another guy named Tony. Tony worked with me for about 9 years, and Tony wouldn't steal nothing from anybody. He was as honest as he come. That white boy, he was honest. And he'd give you the shirt off his back and would never leave you stuck out. As long as you have a need, he'll stay there and work with you, you know. So, but he brought a home past Cleveland, and they built it up from the ground. So he got to the point where it was an hour and a half driving, an hour and a half going home. So it was 3 hour a day commute. So he finally, and I knew it was going to happen. He got a job closer to the house, but he hanged in there for 2 years more before, he quit. So.
And did you have to teach some of your guys how to work cars, or did they have to?
Sure. In fact, to tell you the truth about it, I've taught two. I used to have this thing I was trying to give back to the community. I've had people that would bring their kids, their sons there to learn mechanics, okay? One of them picked it up pretty good, and then he thought he was good enough, went out there and start stealing customers, start making money on his own, and he got in trouble because he bit off more than what he was able to chew. But even today, I'll never refuse a youngster if you want to learn, because if you were truly wanting to do this, you'll learn more from me there than what you ever learned going to school, but you have to have a heart to, because I couldn't pay you, But, it was two of them in particular that really probably off mechanics today somewhere, but, I teach people because especially if there's any flaws, I don't like mistakes. I really don't. I don't like excuses. Because most of the time is you didn't take the time to find something out. I don't care if it's a Land Rover, a Jaguar. I don't care if it's a Porsche. We can fix it, because I tell everybody, if I don't know it, I know somebody that do know it, and they can tell me what I need to know.
Exactly right.
So I can get it done one way or another. So it's still a car. A car is a car.
Dang. So you talk about some of the struggles as a pastor. What are some of the struggles running a business and being an entrepreneur?
Customers.
Still people.
Yeah, still people. When you're dealing with the public, because first of all, you can be as honest as anybody could be. You got a lot of people that wants to get over on you. I've seen a lot of, because I do like a Walmart. I have a Walmart account. And people, they're not so much nowadays, but Walmart philosophy was you go there and you holler loud enough, they'll give you what you want. They'll replace your tire, replace your battery, just to keep you quiet. Okay, until Walmart got hip to it, and they don't care how loud you holler, they ain't gonna do it. Okay, but you got some customers.
Wait, in Walmart, you said, or which?
Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. I still do their account. Okay. When they mess up stuff, the tech might change a battery and they wasn't supposed to, and the car then lost memory because you didn't save the memory. That, or you done stripped off a lug nut or a drain plug. I still do their work. Right. So, and they have their share of problems and stuff. But people has been my most challenging issues because I can pretty much look at people and talk to them probably about a minute, and I know where their head is at. And when you're out for no good, you're not going to get nothing from me. And I don't care how much you holler, but you see, I got a philosophy there at the shop, because I got the numbers to Humble Police all over the shop. And I tell people all the time, if somebody come there, they want to fight, I say, hold on for a second, and then go call the cops and come back and talk to them. I say, give them somebody to fight. I had to do that twice.
Wow.
Yeah, one guy, real big guy too. All muscular and stuff like that, and
big, tall.
Yeah, and I had his car for about 8 months. He kept promising to do some work, and wouldn't do it, and he made all kind of promises. So he just needed to hide it out to pay so it wouldn't get repoed. So when he finally got ahead, he came by and said, "Look, man, I don't want to do no work. I just need to pick up my car."
This is a guy you hired?
No, customer. This was a customer. I had his car for 8 months. He was promised to do some work, and he never did. He was hiding his car from getting repoed. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but anyway, he came wanting to pick his car up, and I said, "Nah, man, you ain't gonna use me like that."
Yeah.
So, he come bucking me and stuff like that, I say, man, I don't care how big you are. I said, you're going to pay me before you take this car. He said, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to take my car. When he said, I said, hold on 1 minute, 1 minute. So I went in the office, called the police. And while at it, I got this big old stingray thing that shoots electricity to you. I said, yeah. So I said, okay, well, hey, it's your call, dude. What you want to do? I said, because I'm going to stand by my word. You ain't taking nothing from me, So, but anyway, by the time he came up to buck the fight, police came up. Police are real fast. Their reaction time is really and truly like less than a minute. Yeah. Okay? So all of a sudden, 5 cars of cops came. 5 cars. And this guy, he still kept acting crazy, And then when the police, they surrounded him, it was 8 of these cops, and they surrounded him. And when I saw one of the cops gave a signal, they was finna take him down. I stepped in front. I said, hold up, man. It ain't got to go down like that today. And I told the guy, I said, dude, do you have any money? I said, because you have no idea what's finna happen. I said, do you have anything? But he kind of caught sense at that time, and he had like $8 in his pocket, He had a bunch of checks for $8. I took the $8. I said, get out of here. And then he went in the middle of the road, shot the finger at me, and burned off. And the cop said, you see, you should let us do what we was going to do. But customers, people, period. Yeah. Dealing with the public is a hard issue.
Mm-hmm. So, Uncle Mike, ever since I've known you, you've had that golden blonde hair. So when did you dye it, and how long have you been growing it for?
Well, tell you the truth about it, I used to dye it black. I've done that for a long time, but I got tired because about every 4 to 6 weeks, they start turning again. So I took my mother's advice. One day I was in Louisiana. I said, Mike, just let your hair be your hair. And from there, it started turning this blonde stuff. And I'd be saying to some little kids, say, look, I want my hair like that. I say, no, you don't. It's just natural. It's just the way it is.
That's so natural color, the blonde?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it just turned that way. I stopped the dyeing. It's been now 6 years since I stopped dyeing it. But I ain't got to worry about putting no more dye in it no more.
That's cool.
So, cool. But I stopped trying to look young, because black hair looks good, make you look young, but the work you got to put in, it just wasn't worth it for me.
I'm sure. And then so you see yourself now at age 70, and you lived a ton of life, tons of stories, and you've been through tons of trials and tribulations. What would you tell yourself in your 20s now? What advice
Go to college.
Go to college?
Yes. I would have told myself, go to university, go to Loyola, take that scholarship, because I had 4 years free, 4 years. And but you know why I didn't go to college? Because I didn't know nobody there, and I didn't want to go by myself.
Wow, yeah, that's real.
Yeah, that was the only real reason, because I was the only one who had a scholarship there. So I didn't want to be by myself.
And was that no, it was a black school. That was a black school, right?
No, yeah.
And you didn't have anybody from high school that didn't
nobody,
to college?
Nobody was going to Loyola University. Nobody. I graduated when we had 346 seniors. Okay, and out of that 346, I was number 46 graduate number because of my grades and stuff.
346, and you were the 46th highest. Wow.
Yeah. The only thing I'll go back and tell my younger self is to go to school, because you see, there's a lot of people out here that has went to college and they're not in that profession that they went to college for. But the thing about education is that it will always give you power, knowledge, the ability to do something, okay, regardless of what it is. It ain't got to be what you went to school for. And then when you go talk to people, if you have a college education, now they're willing to listen to you.
Exactly.
Now you are somebody, so I'm going to hear you. you know, as opposed to you're a high school dropout or you just went to the high school, you know. They don't give you the time of day. So and I try to tell all the young people, go to school, get the education, you know, because regardless, and it's, well, I don't know it don't matter. It doesn't matter what you want to be. Just get the education, you know, because with the education, you'll always find a way to survive. You'll always find that way.
Oh, that's strong. And then let's say that people want to take the different route instead of like going into a corporate job. They want to be someone like you and be an entrepreneur. What's something they should know beforehand of going into the field?
To be honest and committed, okay? Because you know, like I tell my grandson all the time, yeah, you can make it out here even without going to college, okay? It's just that the fight is harder, you know, and the road is longer, you know, because you've got to fight through some people to even be recognized, okay? Somebody come out of college going to get more recognized than you've been there 5 years, you know?
Even if you're more qualified.
Yeah, that's true. But that's just the way it is, okay? Yeah, you can make it out here and make a good living because God's been good to me. We have made a good living. In fact, my grandkids used to always say, are we rich? No, yeah, we live like we was rich, right, you know, with all the stuff that they had and stuff like that. But the thing about it, you can make a good living without the college education, but you need to be real about it, be realistic about it. You got to fight harder. You know, so when you go on these jobs, you got to be better than somebody else. You can't be like them. You got to be better than them. You got to be there before them. You got to be the last one to leave. You got to be so committed so that if not now, later, people going to see that commitment, you know, and you will escalate. You will get where you need to get, but it's just it's going to cost you more of you.
Right. And that's in becoming entrepreneurship and being your own boss.
Yeah.
And so through all the stories and the journeys, like who had the most impact in your life? Would it be your wife, your mother, or anybody else in particular, you think?
Most impact in my life. Actually, I'm probably most proud of like my son. I'm proud of him. He did go to college and he did graduate from FAM, you know, and got a beautiful home that they built up, you know. So he followed the road that I should have followed, you know. But then he's still on it, you know. And I stay close to him even because there were times where he felt like giving up, felt like stopping, you know. and the thing was, you're not going to like that other side, you know. You find a way to like where you're at, you know, because you definitely is not going to make it on the other way, you know. Because, you know, now, as far as me continuing, it's my wife because we know how to take care of each other. You know, because the older you get, you got aches and pains.
And what do you think that secret is for a long-lasting marriage like that? How long have y'all been married?
Well, we 24 years.
24 years.
Yeah. Just not giving up, man.
Just not.
Yeah, and you got to try your best to be as honest with each other as possible. That's hard sometimes, you know, but you got to find a way to trust her. Because as a man, you got to allow her, you got to trust her before she trusts you. You know, you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, you can't 50-50. No, ain't no 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, it's no 50-50.
It's 100-100.
Yeah, you the one well, the Bible holds the man accountable anyway. Okay? So you the one got to make things work. And when heated arguments come, you the one going to have to shut your mouth. You know, when you see where this going, you know, when you know it ain't going nowhere good, stop. Don't let it go no farther.
Right.
You know, because all it takes is one to just stop. She may continue arguing, but just stop. You know, and then eventually she will stop. Okay, but too hot head ain't nothing good gonna come out of it. Nothing
good,
good
yeah.
will come out of it.
I think that at least nowadays, from what I see, I think that the reason why relationships don't last that long, not even marriages, is because after that lovey-dovey stage, when you think everything is perfect, then you kind of settle in, and then you really find out who that person is. They don't want to last anymore, and that's what I think love is. Is after you think they're perfect.
There you go. It's after the lovey-dovey stage, okay? Because that's the stage where now you got to prove, you know, who you are, you know, at that stage. Because love don't pay bills, you know. So when you leave that stage, you find out that can you really cope with this person, their habits, you know. And that's another thing, like marriage, and go. Everybody got habits, okay? You need to be sure you can deal with that woman's habits, and she can deal with your habits.
Right.
You know, I ain't talking about pretending, because that's only going to last a short time. You need to be able to cope with it.
Right.
You know, if she snores or he snores, you better be able to cope with that snoring, you know, because that didn't just happen. It ain't just finna stop. It's going on before you, and it's going to be going on for who knows when.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but
that's strong. And lastly, what advice do you have for just young people in general, like people my age and my generation? What do you see that you think that should be changed, or just advice for them going forward in life?
Well, as far as going forth, to find a passion that you're passionate about, and try to work in the field that you are passionate about. Like I was stating earlier, why I'm so successful in mechanics, because that was my passion. I love doing that. I don't mind getting up. I don't mind doing the time. Young people, you can't work to make money.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing I think as well, that a lot of people my age are chasing the dollar amount, and not really what their heart's
right.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, that's short lived.
Yeah.
You know, your passion may not pay as much, you know, but in the long run, it's gonna work out better.
Yeah.
You see, if you can find a way to make money at your passion, okay, life all the way around, at home, at the job, you personally, everything is going to be a whole lot better if you can find a way to make money at your passion, okay? And you can, because like I tell my grandson, people in general are lazy.
Yeah.
You can make money just off of people's laziness.
Exactly.
Okay.
Wow,
yeah, you really can.
I said that your complacency is profitable.
Yeah, it really and truly is. Why you think people are on a hot summer day on the corner selling cold water? Because people come by and they need cold water. You see? So you find a need. People, why you think the corner store is still in business? They can get a cheaper price at the grocery store, but they don't want to go to the grocery store. Exactly. They want to go a quick lick right here. Yeah, and pay all this extra money. So if you can find a person a need and find a way to, I don't care if it's bringing them sandwiches or something at a certain time, and you're the person that's going to be there, take orders, whatever it is, you're going to make big time money doing that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that's true. And lastly, Uncle, why are you still suffering as a Cowboys fan?
Yeah, I'm gonna always be. I'm a for real diehard Cowboy fan. We're not gonna go anywhere. To me, my problem, I think we need to get rid of our quarterback.
Yeah, you think Dak's not enough?
No, Dak's not gonna take you there. He can't take you there if you go ahead and get a star running back.
Yeah.
You know. Because that first year when Zeke was there, you know, that combination, it was great.
Yeah.
You know, it was great.
You don't think it's because of the culture, the GM, Jerry Jones top down?
Oh, yeah, but Jerry Jones, he owned it.
Yeah.
He going to be Jerry Jones.
Yeah, no matter. Right?
Yeah, no matter what. No, he owns it.
Yeah.
He owned it, and that's how come Jimmy Jones left, because Jerry Jones ain't changing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so if somebody's not going to change something, you got to find a way to adapt within the system.
Yeah.
You know, so the coach, you got to find a way to adapt to Jerry Jones, his wants or whatever situation. It's still workable, you know, on the coach standpoint. The coach that they have right now, that's good enough to get him to the Super Bowl. That's why they haven't fired him yet.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's good enough to get him to the Super Bowl, but they are missing some talents.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the receiver, he's not. That one guy's not enough.
You don't think CeeDee Lamb's enough?
No. He's great, you know, but he's not enough. Dak, Dak not even the quarterback he used to be when he took the job because he's too scared to run now. You see? And nowadays, what makes a successful quarterback? You got to be able to run. That boy for Kansas City, you know, Patrick, you know why he's so great? Because when it gets to a point, he put it on his shoulder. He ain't waiting for the receiver. He's taking off. You know, and that's the mentality. And even for Houston Texans, the boy they have now, they have a gold mine. But if they start trying to make him stand in that pocket and throw, then they got some problems. You know.
But he real accurate though. CJ Stroud.
Oh, he is very accurate. That's how come he needs to add to his game. Sometimes just taking off to keep all that pressure off of you. Because if them people know that you will run that ball, then guess what? They ain't so coming full force at you all the time. You know, exactly. so yeah, but no.
I love CJ Stroud. I love his.
No, he's great. In fact, this is one of the best drafts Texans have ever had.
Yeah, that's fact. Because we wanted both offensive and defensive.
They got him another JJ. You know, and the quarterback they got now to me is better than even Watson was. You know, so they have, but now again they also have to get a running back. You know, and they need another receiver, but Dallas needs a running back.
You think so?
Yeah, Dallas got to get enough running back to relieve that pressure. Dak is good enough. He's just not a superstar. You know, he's great.
You think he can win you a ball or nah?
If you got a good running back.
Just a back, So you think like if they got like Saquon Barkley or like someone of that caliber?
Yeah, that caliber, and then Dak can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, he's okay, but even Dak is not that accurate on passing. You know, he's okay, but pinpoint passing, he's sometime.
Yeah, sometime.
He's sometime or something like that. You know, which I ain't downing the kid. More power to him. Get all the money you can because y'all can really short live.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so hey, every time I hear these people got these contracts. Hey, more power to you. You know, get it while you can.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Wow, what a great episode. Thank you so much, Uncle Mike. I want to appreciate you. Can I plug your shop? Can I put your shop there?
Sure.
Yeah. What's the exact address?
915 Herman Street.
Now, I'm going to put it on the screen so you'll see it on the screen now. Just say that you came from Matt sent you. And I don't know. I'm not guaranteeing no discount, but yeah, just say they sent you. Thank you so much. And I'll see y'all next week, next Monday. Perfect.
Thank you.